Chosen ones, what I'm about to say may surprise you, but it's the truth you need to hear. If you're watching this right now, it's not by chance. God has brought you here for a reason, and something powerful is about to change in your life. You are being called to stop going to church because it is no longer your place. Churches are for ordinary people, but you are chosen, and you are deeply loved by God. He's taking you to a new level. You may have faced betrayal, hate, or been let down by those around you, people still stuck in worldly ways. But know this, God does not align with those who try to bring you down. If you're still following the crowd, ask yourself, what makes you different from them? You don't need to be in a building to talk to God. You can speak to Him anytime, anywhere. Your spiritual journey isn't tied to any physical space, it's within you. And you are about to experience the divine in ways you've never imagined before. Before we dive into this life-changing message, take a moment to pause and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 40,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 99. This will amplify the energy of this message and send a powerful signal to the universe. And remember, if you are truly chosen, you'll stay until the end. Let's get into it. If you've ever felt out of place in church, there's a reason for that. It's because you don't fit in there. You've been chosen to walk a different path, one that doesn't need the walls of a traditional church to connect with God. You are not ordinary, and your spiritual journey is not ordinary. God has set you apart for something extraordinary, and this new path doesn't need any building to contain it. The world may look at you with confusion, even disdain, questioning why you no longer feel the need to attend church. But the truth is, you've been called to something much deeper, a personal connection with God that goes beyond rituals and routines. Your relationship with God is not about a sermon or a pew. It's about the deep, unbreakable bond you share with Him in the stillness of your heart. This isn't a rejection of church itself, but an invitation to step into a more authentic, direct relationship with the divine. The church is for those who still need structure, a community, or a place to learn. But for you, the chosen one, God has called you to walk a different path, one where your spiritual journey is a deeply personal, sacred experience. Have you ever wondered why your spiritual journey feels so different from those around you? Why, despite attending church, you still felt disconnected or longed for something more? The answer is simple: you've been chosen to walk a path that's uniquely yours. This is a call to step beyond the familiar and into a direct communion with God, without needing religious institutions. God's plan for you is bigger than the traditional path of attending church and following rituals. He has handpicked you to experience Him in a way that is intimate, free from human-made structures. This is your chance to build a relationship with God on your terms, one grounded in authenticity and direct communication, not rituals. Embrace this path with trust and excitement. You might not fully understand where it will lead, but rest assured, it will lead you to a deeper, more meaningful relationship with God. You've been called to a higher purpose. You've been called to connect with the divine in a way that doesn't need the church to mediate it. While the church serves an important purpose for many, offering community and structure for those still finding their way, it's not the place for you. As a chosen one, you are called to something beyond the ordinary church experience. Churches are for the unchosen, for those who still need a place to belong and connect. But God has given you a direct path to Him, one that doesn't require rituals or institutions. While others seek comfort and structure in the walls of a church, you are being called to embrace your divine identity. Your faith is meant to be deeply personal and authentic, something that can't be fully realized within the confines of a building. Being chosen is not about being superior to others, it's about God's trust in you. He has picked you for something special, something that requires freedom from religious structures. As you follow this new path, know that it leads to greater intimacy with God, spiritual freedom, and a deeper purpose. For so long, the church has been the place where people gather to worship, seek guidance, and connect with God. But for you, the chosen one, that's no longer where you need to be. God has invited you into a deeper, more personal relationship that doesn't rely on rituals, sermons, or buildings. You can now commune with God anywhere, at any time, without needing anyone else to help you. When you no longer depend on the church to find God, you open yourself to true spiritual freedom. What once felt necessary, the traditional structures and practices, now seem like distractions. You can hear God's voice in the stillness of your heart and experience His love and guidance in ways that go beyond any institution. This gift of direct communion with God is powerful. It means that every moment of your life becomes a prayer, and every breath is a conversation with the divine. No longer bound by the walls of a church, you are free to walk in the fullness of your calling, with God as your constant guide. What if I told you that God has decided it's time for you to stop going to church? This isn't about turning away from your faith or abandoning your connection with God. It's an invitation to something far more powerful. The time has come for you to let go of the old way and embrace a deeper, more authentic connection with the divine. The church, as it exists today, is for those who still need its structure, community, and rituals. But for you, God has chosen a different path, one where your relationship with Him is direct, personal, and free from tradition. You no longer need the church to feel close to God. In fact, He has called you away from it to experience Him in a more profound way. This is a moment of spiritual freedom, a chance to let go of the old and embrace the new. Being chosen means stepping into a life that reflects your true divine calling. It's time to walk with the knowledge that you are loved by God and empowered to live a life that aligns with your higher purpose. God is with you every step of the way. Letting go of something familiar, especially something as deeply ingrained as church, is never easy. But what if the act of letting go is actually the key to a deeper, more authentic relationship with God? When you stop relying on the church for your spiritual growth, you open yourself to the freedom of experiencing God directly. This freedom might feel unsettling at first. You may wonder what your spiritual life will look like without the weekly rituals of church, but it's an invitation to live a life where your connection to God is personal and real, not based on structure but on a deep, meaningful relationship with Him. Being chosen means you have the power to walk in your spiritual calling without needing anyone to guide you or validate your experience. God is your guide, and He's calling you to a life of greater freedom, purpose, and connection. Embrace this journey with confidence and trust, knowing this is exactly where you're meant to be. The truth is, not everyone is called to walk the path you are on. The unchosen, those still seeking connection with God through external structures, go to church because they need it. They rely on the rituals, community, and guidance the church provides to find their way to God. But for you, the chosen one, you no longer need these things. You are called to a deeper, more intimate relationship with God, one that goes beyond buildings and rituals. Your connection to the divine is personal, direct, and powerful. While others may still seek God through the church, you have been invited into a space of spiritual freedom. You are free to communicate with God in your own way, without needing any intermediaries. This doesn't mean that the church is wrong for others, it simply means your spiritual journey is unique to you. You are not bound by the same needs as those who rely on church for guidance. You've been chosen for a different path, one that leads directly to God, and He is with you every step of the way. You may have grown up thinking that your connection to God was only valid in a church setting, that His presence was limited to a building or a Sunday service. But what if the truth is even more beautiful? God knows you intimately, beyond the walls of any church. Your relationship with Him is not confined to rituals or a specific time. It's a living, breathing connection that exists in every moment of your life. God's love for you is unshakable and deeply personal. He knows your heart, your struggles, your dreams, and your desires. This is why you don't need the church to connect with Him. The divine is already within you, always with you, guiding, loving, and empowering you to walk your unique path. You are not separated from God by distance or ritual, you are one with Him. This realization is incredibly freeing, showing you that your spiritual journey doesn't need external validation. You are already whole, already chosen, and already deeply loved. As you continue on the path God has set for you, you may face resistance from those still following the traditional route. Some may criticize or question your choices, not fully understanding the depth of your connection with God. But remember, these individuals are not your enemy, they are simply on their own journey. Some may even betray you, dismissing your spiritual freedom as confusion or weakness. But this betrayal is not a curse, it's a blessing. It shows that you are walking a path that is not for everyone, one that sets you apart for a higher purpose. While these moments of misunderstanding and rejection can be painful, they also offer opportunities for growth. They teach you to trust your divine calling and stay strong in your faith, no matter what others think. Your journey is unique, and not everyone will understand it, but that doesn't make your path any less sacred. You've been chosen to walk a path that will bring you closer to God and lead to greater spiritual depth, authenticity, and connection. Even in the face of betrayal, trust that your calling is true, and your relationship with God will guide you through. For so long, you may have looked for validation through the rituals and structures of church. You attended services, followed the rules, and tried to fit in, thinking your spiritual worth depended on these things. But now, God is calling you to stop seeking validation from the church or from others. You are already chosen, already loved, and already empowered to walk your path without needing anyone's approval. The world may try to tell you that you need the church to define your faith, but the truth is, your faith doesn't need validation from any institution. God has already validated you. You are His chosen one, and your worth is not dependent on external sources. Now is the time to embrace your true identity and live it fully. Walk confidently, knowing that you are chosen for something great, and that your relationship with God is the most authentic and important thing in your life. The approval of others no longer matters when you are secure in God's love and validation. There will always be those who misunderstand or criticize your decision to leave the traditional church setting. These individuals may still cling to their need for structure, ritual, and external approval to feel secure in their faith. They may see your path as a rejection of what they hold dear and label you as misguided or lost. But their response reflects their own journey, not yours. The truth is, those who criticize you stay in the church because they need it. They need the comfort of the familiar and the approval of others to feel secure. But you, the chosen one, no longer need that external validation. You've found your security in God, and that's all you need. Your decision to leave the church is not an act of rebellion, but a step towards spiritual freedom. You are embracing your own power, trusting that God is with you and guiding you every step of the way. The opinions of others no longer have the same weight when you're walking in the truth of your divine calling. In the past, many believed that connecting with God required a priest, pastor, or ritual, a middleman between them and God. But now, you are invited into a new reality where no one stands between you and God. Your connection with the divine is direct, personal, and all-encompassing. This is the true power of being chosen. You don't need a church, pastor, or specific ritual to connect with God. You can communicate with Him anywhere, in your home, in nature, or in the quiet of your heart. Every moment becomes an opportunity to feel God's love, seek His guidance, and commune with the divine. This shift in perspective is both liberating and empowering. You are no longer dependent on external practices to feel close to God. Your relationship with Him is alive, vibrant, and unbroken, existing within you at all times. Trust in the power of this direct connection and embrace the freedom it brings. Leaving the church behind is not a rejection of faith, it is a courageous step toward embracing the fullness of your divine calling. God is calling you to live a life that is authentic to who you are, not bound by the expectations or limitations of others. Your spiritual journey is yours alone, and it's time to fully embrace the path He has set before you. The power of your calling lies not in rituals or external practices, but in the relationship you cultivate with God every single day. By leaving the church behind, you are making room for your unique spiritual journey to unfold, a journey of freedom, self-discovery, and deep connection with the divine. As you move forward, trust that God is with you every step of the way. He has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your calling, and He is guiding you toward a life that reflects your true purpose. Embrace the power of your divine calling and step boldly into the future that God has prepared for you. The church may have once been the heart of spiritual life for many, but today, it has become something different. For many, it's a place of routine and ritual that offers comfort, but not necessarily growth. But for you, the chosen one, the church is no longer where you find spiritual nourishment. You have been set apart for something greater, a deeper, more authentic connection with God that transcends any building. This doesn't mean the church is wrong, it just means your spiritual journey is unique. You've been chosen for a higher purpose, one that calls you to experience God in a way that is direct, personal, and transformative. The rituals of the past no longer resonate with you because you have outgrown them. You are being called to something more powerful, something that is alive within you. Embrace this change, knowing that you are walking in the light of divine purpose. The path ahead may not be easy, but it is beautiful, full of growth and fulfillment. As you step away from the traditional church experience, you are embracing a new way of living, one that is completely dependent on God's guidance. This is not about rejecting faith, it is about embracing a deeper, more authentic connection with Him. You are walking a path that is uniquely yours, full of divine purpose and spiritual fulfillment. Trust that God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. As you continue your journey, remember that God is with you every step of the way, guiding you to places you never imagined. Trust His plan for you and walk confidently in the direction He is leading. You are chosen for a higher purpose. This is your journey, one of freedom, authenticity, and a deep connection with the divine. Leaving the church behind doesn't mean you're abandoning your faith. Instead, you're embracing a deeper, more sacred relationship with God. It shows that you desire a connection with Him beyond rituals and traditions. You already have a personal relationship with God that no institution can define or limit. In the past, you may have relied on the church to shape your spirituality, but now you see that your connection with God is more than a building or ritual can provide. The true sacredness comes from knowing God's presence is with you, wherever you go. By stepping away from the church, you're reclaiming your spiritual freedom. You no longer need man's boundaries to define your faith. Your relationship with God is intimate and personal, beyond anything a church can structure. This freedom allows you to walk your path authentically, no longer bound by expectations or rituals. As you embrace this new phase of your spiritual journey, trust that you are walking a sacred path. God is closer to you than ever, and you've been chosen to experience Him in a more profound way. This freedom is a blessing, a sign of the strength of your connection to the Creator. Tradition serves its purpose in many people's lives, offering comfort and predictability. But for you, the chosen one, it has become a limitation. You are being called to break free from these old patterns and to live in the divine flow, a journey that evolves and cannot be confined to outdated ways of thinking. Your spirit craves something greater, something more dynamic, and God is inviting you to experience this transformation. Breaking free from tradition doesn't mean rejecting the values you've learned. It means embracing a more personal, flexible relationship with God. The divine is constantly evolving, and so should your connection with Him. When you live in the divine flow, you open yourself up to growth, new revelations, and joy in experiencing God in every moment. This freedom allows you to live in alignment with your higher purpose, guided by God's voice within you. The road you're on is not the one most people choose. It requires courage, faith, and trust. It's a road less traveled, often misunderstood by those who follow the traditional path. But this is your journey, one that God has set before you, filled with spiritual abundance and blessings that can only be found when you walk it. The path of the chosen one is often lonely, not because you're truly alone, but because the world doesn't understand your calling. You may face resistance, skepticism, and even ridicule, but none of that matters when you know that God is with you. His love is your guiding light, and it's this connection that keeps you moving forward, even when the world seems to be moving in the opposite direction. While the world may seek comfort in familiarity, you are called to embrace the discomfort of growth. This path will stretch you, challenge you, and help you evolve into the person God has always known you to be. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to blaze a trail that reflects your unique calling and divine purpose. Something within you is awakening, an inner stirring, a deep knowing that your spiritual life is calling you to something more. You've sensed for a while that your path is shifting, and God is inviting you to step into a more profound experience than traditional church life can offer. This awakening is God's invitation to live a life of greater authenticity, deeper purpose, and direct communion with Him. Spiritual awakening often comes with a sense of disconnection from old ways. As you become more attuned to your inner calling, you'll find that the rituals and teachings of the church no longer resonate with you. This is not a rejection of God's word, rather, it